Welcome back to So Many Games for the second volume of So Many Demos. If our last video didn't give you enough to play yet, here are 10 more slightly lesser known gems from the current edition of Steam Next Fest. Whether you love your games cozy, adventurous or card based, there's something for everyone here. If even this video doesn't quite scratch your demo itch yet, give us a follow over on Blue Sky as well, as my colleague Jason is sharing a demo of the day during the entire week of Next Fest. And with that, let's dive into my suggestions, as always in alphabetical order. I've mentioned it before, and if you follow So Many Games both on YouTube and over on the website, you will see me mention it again, but 2025 is turning out to be quite the year for roguelike deck builders. As it is a genre that I'm really invested in, it's going to be hard choosing to play Die in the Dungeon, Nights in Tight Spaces, Slay the Spire 2 or Monster Train 2, and that's even before we dive into the new IPs releasing later this year as well. One that has stood out to me has been As We Descend, mostly because the game consists of two separate ways of playing. You'll have the card-based battles that are a requisite of the genre, but in between fights you'll also want to play your cards right within the last city of humankind, advancing the story in many different and interesting ways. The game looks absolutely stunning as well, and with the depth that's already to be found within the demo, the full game will be a must-play when it arrives at the end of March. If you like your action a bit more hands-on, then Genokids is the game for you. You play as all four members of this bizarre music band as they try to save the world from an invasion that happens right during one of their best performances ever. Talk about a mood killer, right? The game looks fantastic, and obviously its music will be pumping up the adrenaline levels. You'll need all the motivation you can get to try and stop the invasion, and maybe look cool while you're doing it as well. Combat is fast and frenetic, with you seamlessly switching between the band's members. Can you save the day and become not just musical heroes but the saviors of Earth?
Come here. You're facing.
Looking at the visuals of our next game, you might be mistaking it for the wonderful A Short Hike. The visual inspiration is clear, but Goodlands is something else entirely. In what the devs call a game about dinos digging up dinos, you play a paleontologist on the lookout for fancy new fossils to revitalize the local museum. You get to drive around a curated open world at your own pace, discovering everything it has to offer, which includes 14 fully realized vertebrate fossils. If the demo is anything to go by, this will be one of those games to put on after a way too hectic day at work and just enjoy driving around, digging out the fossils, and having a very chill time indeed. If you're on the hunt for actual chills, then the horror at Highrook might be more up your alley. This spooky game full of Lovecraftian horrors looks and plays a lot like a board game, but being digital allows the game to do so much more than a physical version would be able to. As paranormal investigators, players are invited to Highrook, where the family who lives there, the Acherons, have gone missing. In a kind of paranormal version of Cluedo, it's up to you to find out what happened to this noble family who have fallen on hard times. Every playable character comes with their own skills and perspectives, and it's up to you to discover the fate of the Acherons and to ensure the survival of your own character. With the game receiving backing from the Outer Sloth initiative, it's allowing developer Null Pointer Games to make this the absolute best it can be. Developer Dude specializes in tiny games, with their previous work on Froggy's Battle and especially Minami Lane not having gone unnoticed. Kabuto Park, which is set to release in May, will become their third game in as many years, and once again, it's something completely different from what has come before. Looking adorable as is usual for Dude's games, Kabuto Park sees you collecting bugs. Upgrade your gear to collect better bugs, and try to win the Summer Beetle Battles Championship to ensure that your summer holiday at Kabuto Park is one that you'll remember for the rest of your life. The Beetle Battles are also card-based, so you know I'm recommending this one for sure. Even more coziness can be found in Locomoto, a life sim adventure train game. As the conductor of the titular train, it's up to you to ensure that everyone has a grand old time traveling through a beautiful countryside. You can do this by customizing, managing and expanding your train. You'll spend most of your time with this game on your train, but there is a world to explore outside of it as well. There, you can invite passengers to travel with you. Oh, and did I mention that every passenger is a cute fluffy animal? Locomoto is really upping the coziness levels on using public transportation. Do you want to keep the coziness but crave to be more hands down with your approach? Then why not give Paperklay a try? Inspired by the best 3D platformers around, you play as the already iconic duo Chick and Nugget, as they travel through a world completely made up of crafting materials like cardboard, paper and clay. Meet plenty of colourful and fully voiced characters as you try to save all of the lost eggs. There are plenty of other items to collect along the way, as you explore its open world any way you want to. Glide, dash and double jump your way through this world, while also solving puzzles. Just about any element you've loved from the classics of the genre can be found in this modern twist. If you like the minimalist version of tower defense games that the likes of Thronefall offer, then Riff, the newest game by Hidden Folks developer Adriaan de Jong, will be a game you need to check out. Jumping through rifts, you discover a plethora of different worlds, where you will pick your towers to defend from hordes of enemies. You play as a lone rifter, looking for treasure, and as you defend towers successfully, you'll be able to build even stronger towers and dive even deeper into spacetime. Despite the worlds being pretty barren, they are wonderful to look at, and present so many different options to defend your towers with. This is one of those easy to learn yet hard to master kind of games, with the demo already providing over 90 minutes of gameplay. Start playing at your own risk though, because Riff is highly addictive.
You are in a tavern. The barkeep hollers out to you.
Hey, you gonna order a drink, mate?
Have you ever wondered how hard it must be to be the dungeon master in a tabletop RPG? Just the thought of the many ways your players can screw over your carefully made plans sends shivers down my spine. Run TavernQuest gives you some insight about how bad it can get. This game is a classic text adventure, but you are not the one playing it. Instead, some idiot named Steve has booted the game up, and you become the game itself. Steve doesn't really know how to play text-based adventures though, and will enter some truly bizarre commands through the command system. How will you make the game respond to whatever pops into his mind? And will Steve make it to the end of the game?
Let me tell you about my first journey into space.
And finally, in Space Sprouts, you recount the story of how you left your home planet and traveled to your current home to your granddaughter. It's a chaotic space adventure that sees you explore your own solar punk ship during the entire 3-minute trip? Wait, that can't be right. That's what your granddaughter thinks too, and she asks you to try and remember more from your travels. With every time you tell your tale again, you remember more, and you get more time to spend on the ship. Everything on the ship is physical and will react both to you and, for example, gravity. Can you collect all the memories and tell the complete story to your granddaughter? It feels like this is one of those games that's going to make me cry again, but in a good way, you know? And there you have it, 10 more brilliant Steam Next Fest demos you can check out this weekend. Have you played any of these, or any of the others we have recommended before? Let us know in the comments or tag us on social media. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and follow us here if you want to be kept up to date on all things indie gaming. And of course, check out somanygames.co.uk for even more reviews and articles on what just might be your next favorite indie game. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.